Now, our next speaker is a return from last year. Last year, we learned from Dr. Sian Proctor that how important professional growth is. That as we continue to learn, as all of you know, as you've been spending the day with us today, as we continue to learn, we get new ideas, we're inspired, we want to try new things. And Dr. Proctor last year shared with us her experience with NASA and Mars, where she did a study in a remote area of Hawaii and learned about how a trip to Mars could potentially go. Now, last year she teased us with what she was going to do this past summer. She told us about a trip she had planned to Barrow, Alaska, on the Arctic Circle. So, not only did Dr. Proctor get out to the Arctic Circle, but she created an amazing learning experience for one of her geology major students at South Mountain Community College. Now, remember I mentioned that everything we do here at SCC begins and ends with our students. That's why we're here. We're here to serve our students, to help them achieve their goals. And Dr. Proctor has done that with her student, Buffy Moore. So please join me in welcoming my friend Sian Proctor and Buffy Moore.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here today and to share with you my experience as a 2014 PolarTREC teacher to Barrow, Alaska, and how I learned to video blog using the iPad. So who here has heard of Barrow, Alaska? Raise your hand. Okay. Who here has been to Barrow, Alaska? No one? No one? I'm the only one? Who here would want to go to Barrow, Alaska? So I'm going to share with you how I learned about Barrow, Alaska, and then my experience up there. So PolarTREC is an NSF-funded teacher program in which they take K through 14 teachers and informal education educators, and they match them with researchers doing research in the Arctic or Antarctic region. So last year they had a couple hundred teachers from across the United States apply for the program, and they chose 16 individuals and they matched them up with researchers. 10 of us went to the Arctic region and 6 went to Antarctica. Now, I am a traveler and I always wanted to go to Antarctica, so I was secretly hoping to end up in Antarctica, because who wouldn't want to go there for their professional growth experience? But what PolarTREC tries to do is they try to match you with a researcher that's doing research in an area that matches your interests and the things that you do in the classroom, so that you can easily bring that information back and integrate it into your curriculum. So I was matched with researchers that were doing research in Barrow, Alaska, and they were doing a project called Historical Ecology for Risk Management. I worked with Dr. Ann Garland and Dr. Kathleen Fisher. And, you know, it's interesting because I'm a geologist, and my specialty area is actually geologic disasters and the environment. So basically the ways in which the earth can kill you and the ways in which we are kind of destroying the earth are the things that I concentrate on. And 2 years ago, I had a sabbatical at FEMA's Emergency Management Institute, where I learned about emergency management, preparedness, mitigation, and all of these things dealing with the science of disasters. So when I was paired with this research team, I was really excited because one of the big things that I'm getting into is climate literacy and climate change. And Barrow, Alaska is a really interesting place because the Arctic region is experiencing climate change faster than any other region on the globe. So there are a lot of scientists that are going to Barrow to study climate change and the effects there. And so you can see where Barrow is located at the very north tip here. It's the northernmost city in the United States. So now who would want to go to Barrow, Alaska? And so One of the interesting things when you look at Barrow and you look at that top left photo, you can see that Barrow, the terrain is very flat and it's coastal. And so, it's very different than anything I was expecting coming from Phoenix in the desert here to be going up there. And what it is everything above the Brooks Range right here is permafrost tundra. And so I didn't actually know how to prepare for this unique landscape that I was going to be going to. Barrow itself is a really small community. Only 5,000 residents live there year-round, and it's mainly Inupiat. And yet you have all of these researchers coming from around the world to study climate change there. And so when I got there, the first thing that I noticed was this interesting thing that all of the houses sit on stilts because of the permafrost, the tundra, the permafrost there. And so every single building is on stilts. It doesn't matter if it's the hospital, multi-story, the hotels, the schools, all of the buildings are raised because of the permafrost. And now they're starting to have some interesting issues with the permafrost starting to melt part of the year. And so how is the community going to be able to deal with that? And one of the things that we were looking at as in our project, Historical Ecology for Risk Management, was how do we engage the community and the local emergency managers to deal with some of the issues that are starting to happen. And the one what we were looking at in particular is what happens with coastal erosion as the sea ice starts to move away. And so up in the Arctic region, the sea ice is starting to break up earlier in the year. It is moving further offshore, and it's coming back later in the season. And so what this does is it opens up the coastline for erosion and potentially flooding. And so if you look at these satellite images, the one on the left shows you the sea ice in white and the coastline of Barrow, Alaska. And you can see how close the ice is to the coastline. And that ice actually acts as a barrier protecting the coastline from erosion. So in the next image on the right, you can see that the ice isn't there. And so what that does is it allows the wind to blow across the open ocean water, generating big storm surges. Those storm surges come in and they start to destroy the coastline. And if they're large enough, because that's a really flat terrain, it can actually flood the region. And so what we were doing was looking at what is it that the community is doing and the emergency management to help deal with these effects that are starting to take place. As a PolarTREC teacher, one of my big obligations was to do a daily journal so that people, not only my students, but friends and family, could follow along with what I was doing while I was on my expedition. So I went to Barrow, Alaska for 4 weeks last summer during the month of July, and my goal was to learn about the research that was happening with my research team, but also to do a daily journal or blog. And I decided to do video blogs. And so during that time, I ended up making 20 videos. I call them little video nuggets of information that I was able to share with my students and my family and friends. And the way that I did that was I would push these videos up to YouTube, the PolarTREC YouTube channel, and then I would put them on the PolarTREC journal page that you see behind me. That's my actual journal page where I posted all my videos. And so what did I use to do this? It was actually very simple. I was surprised at how easy it is to video blog with the iPad. I had a waterproof camera. The reason why I had a waterproof video camera is because in July in Barrow, Alaska, the weather is a pleasant 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And, a lot of days I woke up and it would be snowing. It would be in the low 30s. It'd be maybe snowing. It could be raining, sleeting, and fog would often roll in. So I had to be prepared for whatever the weather was going to be like. And then I also had my iPad, and I had the iMovie app downloaded on it. How many of you have used the iMovie app? Raise your hand. Is that not the best deal for $5? You can download this app for $5, and Apple makes it simple for you. They want you to make videos, and so it's really easy to make cool videos with it. And then I had a CD card reader in which I could transfer my media from my camera to my iPad. That's all I needed to be able to do my video blogging. So one of the things I want to do is I want to share with you the first video I shot. So I get to Barrow, Alaska after a couple of flights, and I land at 7 o'clock at night, get picked up. You know, I've never been there. I'm like, okay. So they pick me up, and the first thing they say is, well, let's go out into the field. You know, let's go collect some insect samples. And I'm like, okay. And so they take me out to the field, and this is the very first video I shot, and I did it the night that I landed in Barrow. Because you got to remember, we're above the Arctic Circle, so the sun doesn't set. So you can go out at 2 in the morning and, you know, do field work. So this video was actually shot about 10:30 at night.
Hello everyone. It didn't take long before I went out to explore this new and exotic landscape around me. The Arctic tundra is frozen for a good part of the year, but during the summer the surface of this landscape is transformed with plants, ponds, and life. The subsurface is permafrost. This means that the ground just below the surface is permanently frozen even in summer. Today I am out with scientist Dr. Malcolm Butler from the North Dakota State University collecting samples of invertebrate communities from the ponds that dot the tundra's surface. Samples are collected every day to determine when the different invertebrate species emerge. These small invertebrates are an essential part of the migratory bird food chain, and with climate change, it's important to understand any shifts in the emergence. This is just one example of the Arctic science occurring in this amazing region.
So that was one of the first videos I shot. You can see a lot of it was just using still images and then having pans and zooms. And the iPad makes it really easy for you. It puts transitions in. And then what I did was I voiced over my video and then added in little titles. And then the iMovie app actually puts it all together, and you can just easily push it up to YouTube. Now, the reason why I kept these videos really short is because one of the issues up in Barrow, Alaska is not having high-speed internet, in which we're all used to. In Barrow, it's more like dial-up AOL. It's really bad. And so I literally, depending on where I was, it could take anywhere from 4 minutes to an hour to push up a 1-minute video. If I ended up outside of town at the research center, they had lightning fast internet and it was fantastic. But most of the time I was in town, and it would take an hour to push up one video, and so a lot of times it would fail. It wouldn't even get posted. And so I was like, oh, you know, challenging. But it's good for your audience to keep your videos short, because they don't mind watching it to the end. How many of you guys have always, you know, you start watching a video and you're like, oh, I don't have time for this, you know? So you just dump out of it. And so for my students and my friends and family, I wanted to keep them short. Now, this next video is a little more sophisticated. It was shot towards the end of my expedition, and you can see that it's a little more detailed. It's a little bit longer. It actually has video in it that with sound underneath.
Hello everyone. Do you know what a storm surge is? They are a big concern in many coastal communities, including Barrow. A storm surge is an abnormal rise in sea level over and above the regular astronomical tide. Large waves form when you have high wind speed, long wind duration, and a large fetch. Fetch is the distance of open water that the wind blows across. So when the land-fast ice breaks up and moves far offshore, it opens up a bigger fetch. This is why Barrow's deadly storm surges occur during the late summer and fall. It's because the ice is far offshore and can't act as a barrier to the incoming waves. Large storm surges can lead to coastal inundation. In 1963, Barrow was hit with a storm surge that produced 12-foot waves, flooding parts of the town and destroying buildings. The longshore current sweeps down the coastline, eroding the land and moving sediment in the process. Barrow spends millions of dollars each year trying to protect the coastline and the city's infrastructure. Berms and revetments are the main form of defense to protect the coastline from eroding and the city from flooding. But changes in climate is enabling bigger waves and increased storm frequency. This is one reason why we are here, to work with the local emergency management office to study the coastline and to increase community awareness to this growing danger. To learn more about storm surges and coastal inundation, check out this NOAA website.
So with these videos, I was able to keep my students, my family, and my friends engaged with what I was doing in virtually real time so that they could learn about all of these things. And one of the cool parts about this project was that I was able to have a student participate with me remotely here in Phoenix. And so it's really interesting to give our students at the community college an opportunity to engage in research. And so I'd like to have my student, Buffy Moore, come out and explain to you how this experience affected her. And so welcome, Buffy.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. I'm Buffy, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I'm a geology major and a student of Dr. Proctor, and during the summer of 2014, I worked on my first internship with a small nonprofit group that researches climate change in Barrow, Alaska. Barrow, Alaska is a small native Inuit town and the northernmost point in America. Under contract with the nonprofit, I produced a poster and contributed youth-based advice for their sustainability fan page. I'd always wanted to see a real-life example of climate change. But since I wasn't able to experience it directly in Barrow, I had to rely on technology. Technology enabled me to keep in contact with Dr. Proctor and my contractors, and it allowed me to see climate change happening in real life. For this project, I relied on PolarTREC.com, Facebook, and email. To make the poster, I gathered data from reputable sources and organized it so that coastal erosion and climate change in Barrow could be easily understood. A poster is a lot like a photograph because it lays out a story right away. Like this image of a house being swept away by Grace Redding. This image was taken by a nurse that lived in Barrow in the 1950s. And she snapped this during a real storm. It tells Barrow's story so well that I had to ask for permission to use it in my poster. But since Grace passed a long time ago, she wasn't able to do that. Luckily, a friend of hers that I contacted let me use it on her behalf. It was amazing how all of the sources that I contacted for permission responded within 2 days. And it's exciting how to see that level of professional courtesy and how other people's research, like Grace's photos, are passed down and not forgotten. During the nonprofit's research in Alaska, Dr. Proctor posted short journal entries and video logs onto a very special site called PolarTREC.com. PolarTREC enables teachers and researchers traveling to the Arctic to post their daily news. Dr. Proctor showed her trip to the weather balloon station, to the underground water pipeline corridor that runs along the coast of Barrow, and also the disaster walk event where townspeople gathered to walk along the historic flood line that overtook about half the town at one point. One great example that I got from this website to put in my poster was the uneven floors in Barrow. Since the ground outside is frozen year-round, it's dangerous to lay a foundation on top of, so houses have to be raised on stilts. And being on stilts makes the floors uneven. I hadn't thought about the impact of the ground on people's lives that directly before. And also, it was difficult to see how close the houses were along the entire coastline to the water until someone in Dr. Proctor's team had taken long panoramic aerial shots of the coast. And she sent it to me, and that really helped me see how close houses are to the coastline now because of erosion. And also, the nonprofit group has a Facebook page where they posted their daily ongoings, and that was really exciting to see. They examined recent storms, and they also looked at coastal soil samples, which is really cool because the ground is frozen, so it actually preserves things that normally aren't preserved. Little pieces of fabric and wood from dating all the way back to the ancient Burnick Society in Barrow is saved. So that's really cool, and that's being eroded away as well. The nonprofit also posted them going to local school to talk about disaster preparedness to small children. And because of PolarTREC and Facebook and email, it was a very successful project. Now I'd like to show you my poster. The first section shows Barrow's past. The native Inuit culture is extremely resilient against even the roughest of storms. The middle shows Barrow's present. The protective ice that runs along Barrow's coast is being eroded away because of global warming. And now storms that normally hit Barrow are actually having a much greater effect on the town than ever before. And the last section shows Barrow's future. Their town government has put in a lot of effort to plan for future disaster events. They've looked into protective vegetation and putting in expensive walls in place of this disappearing ice. So now the nonprofit group has a way to spatially tell the story of Barrow for their website. And by the end of the summer, I'd completed my contract thanks to these very simple technological resources, PolarTREC.com, Facebook, and clear communication through email with Dr. Proctor, my contractors, and kind strangers who let me use their photos. Thank you.
Isn't it absolutely amazing what our students can do?
Buffy's poster is on display downstairs if you'd like to see it when you are leaving and checking out. Thank you, Lisa.